Welcome back to America Decides. The Democratic Party's path to taking the House could run through states beyond what we consider battlegrounds in the presidential election, keeping a close eye on contests in New York and California. Democrats lost several seats in the Empire State in 2022, which is part of why they lost the lower chamber. Republicans are aiming to hold on to their slim 4-seat majority, and those states have, if nothing else, an awful lot of seats. Hunter Woodall is seated next to me here. You've been doing your reporting on New York and California House races. I mean, they don't just have a lot of seats, they have a lot of competitive seats, and that's the bottom line. Which ones are you watching most closely?
Well, as you mentioned, I mean, New York, there's at least 4, seats that really could be important in this election. And there's one in particular that shows where we're at. That's a seat of Republican Representative Mike Lawler. He's a freshman Republican. He's somebody that's gotten a positive shout out from President Joe Biden, early in his term, but also gets on Twitter and praises, the late Senator John McCain. That's not something we see much from Republicans these days, and kind of speaks to the center-right tilt that he's trying to make in this race.
Doesn't seem like there were any surprises. If we begin in New York and look at California as well, doesn't feel like there were any surprises in the primaries where either party ended up nominating somebody less electable, which was a dynamic that hurt Republicans in 2022.
Absolutely, and that's a noticeable thing here. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't like Republicans who voted to impeach him after January 6th. But you do have a Republican Representative, David Valadao, in California running for re-election. He's one of the last 2 House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump after January 6th. Republicans' House majority may depend on Valadao winning that seat, which is something that's an interesting dynamic for Trump Republicans.
You have all those very distant suburbs of the big cities like Los Angeles that are in play. So what are the issues that are there? Are they any different than the very blue or the very red seats?
Well, that's the thing. At the end of the day, these are still the issues we're going to see constantly in battleground districts this election season. It's going to be the economy. It's going to be about abortion rights. But it's also going to be about immigration. And these are topics, Republicans have a lot of messaging tactics that worked in 2022. They can use this again, even though it's, Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket rather than President Biden. That could be a vulnerability for Democrats, but you also have Republicans who have that struggle of, hey, we had the House majority for the last few years. We had a lot of struggle getting things done.
So you have this enormous change at the top of the ticket, which both sides are talking about. Do you have a sense of how this impacts those areas that were competitive to begin with, where they're unpredictable to begin with? Any idea from your reporting what happens next there?
Well, 2022, was a year where Republicans thought they were going to have a red wave. And obviously, they didn't have that as much, but they did retake control of the House. The problem is now it's a presidential race. They don't have the ballot to themselves. They are going to have this large presidential race at the top of the ticket in blue states like New York and California. That's going to matter a lot. And I think you're going to see a struggle from Republicans. Do they continue to embrace Donald Trump, or do they try and track to this dwindling center-right of the political sphere that doesn't appear to be having much traction these days?
Yeah, there's just so many competitive seats in those 2 states, it's hard to overlook them. And when we get more time down the road, we could talk about the home areas of the vice presidential nominees. There's a competitive race in Minnesota and in Ohio. Hunter Woodall, thank you very much.